Alrighty, everybody, how we doing to Big Irons Back 40? Another Saturday episode. This one's probably going to be a little shorter, but it's going to be that way because we're getting quite a bit of rain, and we're getting little cells coming through, so I'm having to dodge raindrops trying to do today's project. You're probably seeing a little bit of overhang, underhang, or I don't know what you call it there. You see the name Sears hanging from the gimbal. I got to put you in the proverbial shed. I call it my office. Got a desk there and everything, and it's the future home of the podcast we'll be doing. Anyway, I got the camera set up in there, just try to keep it out of the rain. And in the meantime, let me fill you in on what I'm doing. I am trying to plant a cedar tree right here, and I've had a few cedar trees over the years since we had our bark beetle epidemic some years ago, and we lost all our trees. There's a giant butt of a tree right here, and we lost it during the bark beetle. And I bet it was every bit of probably 80-footer. It was a good one, right? And it kind of made a little circle driveway. And we lost it during the bark beetle epidemic. And so after a few years of cleanup, I planted these cedars. These pines right here were donated to me. I think I got 100 of them. We planted them all over the property, and I think I've told you about this a few times when I've been out working. And I thought, I'd like to put a cedar tree here. And if you've seen my other videos, I call this the industrial side of the ranch, where we've got different sheds and wood sheds, and we got to keep the trailers and stuff. And it's the only side of the house there's no windows, and so everything else is windowed where the forest is. So it's got beautiful views. And then this side over here, that way you look out and you don't see what I call the industrial side, where we keep all our tools and chainsaws and splitters and whatever else we need. Anyway, I wanted to kind of put some trees here to just even give a little bit better of a block, or I don't know what you call it, just a shield, I guess, from looking over this way. And all this was done by design, a little bit here and there. It's actually kind of built like Rome. If you know anything about your history, Rome wasn't built in a day, neither was the Sears Ranch. And we just kind of piece it together as we go along through the years. But anyway, my design was to keep this side over here, once again, the industrial side, where we keep all the tools and do all our maintenance. And so back to my story, I wanted to put some trees here that would be an even bigger shield, kind of identifies that's the driveway over there. So eventually I'd like to do some railroad ties here and probably have some, some native little plants like some poppies and lupins and whatnot. Anyway, the pine tree is doing very well in the driveway to replace the one that died. And I wanted to put a cedar tree here because they can get nice and fat, and I just like how they smell and how they look. And for whatever reason, this is about the fourth one I've transplanted, and it hasn't made it. It does very well for about a year, and then it ends up just giving up the ghost. And I think it's because of the industrial side of the driveway. Oils leaking out of cars and any other petroleum products, that have spilled on the ground. Probably has gotten saturated in the area where we're standing, and I'm sure the root system connects with it at some point and it can't make it. So what I've done this go around, try something a little different, is I dug very deep, and I'm replacing it with some potting soil. And then I went and dug some just some regular native soil off over in the woods over here, where the industrial area is not. And then I've mixed it together, and I'm just about ready to put this in. If you can see it right here, here's a little cedar tree, and they're very good to transplant. I've probably got a dozen of them around the property that are doing very well right now, kind of growing and doing awesome. Can't see the one over there on the other side of the Oklahoma redbud, but it's doing super awesome. And so I've had really good success, is the moral of that part of the story, except for this one spot. So I'm gonna try something a little different, see if I can't get it to go. And here's a little cedar tree I found, and almost every single one of them I've dug out of the ditch over here across the road. Cedars are like weeds that way. They grow everywhere, so they're very plentiful. And so I've transplanted them out of the ditch where they probably would die anyway, and planted them on the property over here to replace the bark beetle kill we had. So that's today's adventures. I've spent the first 3.5 minutes explaining how to plant a tree, or why I'm planting this tree. So I need to go get me one more scoop of native soil, and I'm not going to drag the camera with me, but I'm going to talk, probably tell a few more stories as we go along, and see how good the range is on this mic I have right here. So I will be back directly with one more scoop, and then we'll plant this thing. When I say planting, you just set it in the hole and kind of break it up, give it some nutrients. So let's see if you can hear me way back over here. I'll be back. Eventually, where the camera's set up, and over here to the, I guess it'd be your left if you're looking on the video, I'm wanting to put a shop in here. I've been wallering that gravel you see in my driveway for 25 years, repairing vehicles and everything, and I'd like to have eventually a dry place with maybe a lift, and where I can do all the maintenance type stuff. And I have some good soil there. A big old scoop of it. There we go. Yeah. Break it up a little bit. Well, I hope you can hear me. And come here. There we go. I think that'll do it. So anyway, I hope you can hear me. And then that way, if I can get a shop in this area, you got a place we can pull in and do all our maintenance, which we do just about 100% of it. We definitely get into larger maintenance stuff that I just don't have the tools for. Oh yeah, that's good. Mostly I just don't want to be kneeling down in this gravel anymore. Get into my mid-50s and starting to hurt. So let's see here. Yeah. Got a little potting soil in there, and put a little rose food down in there. In case you didn't know it, rose food actually is really good for just about any kind of plants, trees and shrubs. It does very, very well. All right, let me bring this back a little bit. You always want to plant with native stuff as much as you can. Dirt. It doesn't shock the trees when you're replanting them. And then you can do it from a root system, as long as you don't tear up the roots. But I like to get them pretty small. I've been successful with it, where the root system is in this giant pile of dirt, and then I just put the dirt in like it. The little trees just like, what happened? How'd I get over here? There we go. Look at that right there. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And you just tuck it in. Let's see. I'm no arborist. Most of this stuff I've learned just by doing it here. You know what? I don't want to break that soil up too much on around the base of that little cedar. So I might actually go get me another scoop. There we go. Maybe just a little bit. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yep. I'm gonna get me another little scoop here. Put it around the base just a little bit. I've had decent success planting some fruit trees. I think one of my videos doing some burning, I was explaining how stone fruit does really well up here. Citrus, not so good. Got to be a little bit lower elevation to get the cedar to really go. And make me a little trough here to hold the nutrients and water. I don't have a watering system over here, so I hand water these trees every few days in the summertime. You're not supposed to water the conifers because they don't, you want them to grow naturally, because you know they're not going to be watering them their whole life. But after we had that bark beetle kill off, I'm trying to give as much as I can, the biggest success as possible. So a number of these trees that are up close to the house that we planted, I did run water to them. The ones further out, I didn't. Most of them are doing pretty good. We have lost a lot. It's very disappointing to lose them after, you know, you spend all that time planting them. But such is the proverbial circle of life, I guess. All right, almost. Okay. Let me rake that up. Give me one more little scoop here in just a second. So, that thing's still tracking me? There it is. Good. I don't know if you've been watching any of the videos as of late. And I've been doing some at work. We've been doing a lot of culvert replacements. Gearing up for some surface treatments this summer we got going on at work. And I hope you've enjoyed. I'm fixing a light right now if you hear all the rustling. One of my lights just, I think, blew off. One of my outside lights. There we go. I got it. Okay. Here's what I came for, is the rake. Anyway, hopefully you've checked out some of those videos and seen some of the work we do at work. I enjoy it. Well, I enjoy the work. I just thought maybe some people might enjoy seeing what's going on. I've done a few different styles, you know, high speed, just regular filming. Last week, I did my first ever live broadcast, and I think there might have been 2 of you that watched. That's all right. Got to start somewhere. So I found another little cedar over in the ditch that was just too cute and pretty. So I dug him up. I got a spot over yonder. I'm going to put him here in a minute. I don't think I'll take the camera with me, just because right now it's a dry spell, but these rain cells have been coming through. All right, let's walk over here again. Hopefully you can hear me. If you don't, I'll be back. Just means the mic dropped off for a second, so hold on. I need to go and pick me up some new fertilizer. I found that 15-15-15 is just a good all-around fertilizer. You can drop just about on anything, trees, shrubs, bushes, some of the fruit trees we got. That seems to be working pretty good. Utilizing that 15-15, it's not too expensive, and plus I just don't know, I don't take the time to do all the chemical mathematical equations to figure out how many teaspoons of what I gotta put with what. I just kind of sprinkle it in and let it ride. But so far, my just do it has worked out pretty decent. Of course, you know, the Lord made trees and vegetation to grow in a natural environment, so it's not really I'm not trying to take too much credit, just I want to give them the best chance they can to survive, because Wish I had video of what the place looked like. Let's see, 26 years ago now, I believe we've been here. And what it looked like before. As I've said in other videos, just a boatload of cutting and burning brush. And then the trees were so thick, you know, the pine trees, they just weren't healthy. You know, they don't get big. They stay skinny, and the tree limbs don't get out very far because they're too close. So I had spread them out and cut a bunch of them down just to get some distance between them, make them healthy. And we had a really good place here for about 10 years. I got it just like I like it. And then that bark beetle came through and took out all of our conifers. Well, not all the conifers, but the pines. So I guess which helped the cedars really take off. You know what? I need one more scoop. We'll find out here in a minute if me walking 100 feet away is working. So, and got another little cell coming through. So I'm gonna try to hurry this one up so I'm not getting soaked. And when I got the camera going, I don't get calls. All right, well, I guess I do, but I don't know. And I'm on call right now, so I gotta be able to answer the phone. So let's wrap this up here in about a couple of minutes, and then we'll get out going over and put in that other cedar. If I feel I'm not going to get too wet, I'll bring the camera with me. Thought about getting the wheelbarrow and doing this, and I should have done it. All right, here we go. This is going to do it. All right. Let's see, I got a little vegetation. You ever get the green grass, little green weeds growing? You don't want to mulch those up. You want to pull those out. Kind of introduce, I think, bacteria or something like that. All right. Now let's go and get a bucket of water. Give it a good saturation. Give it a jump start. Actually, let's put a little, this is that shake and feed. There we go. Got just a little bit of potting soil left. Okay, get some water. And then we'll shut the phone off before I get a phone call and miss a call out. As soon as that phone rings, I get overtime. Don't want to miss out on that. All right. Give me just a second. I'm going to put some water in here. There we go. Come on. Whoa. Had it upside down. Sprayed myself. Kind of seems weird. It's raining to give it water, but you want to kind of get it saturated, not drown it, but give it a good amount of water so it gets down in that root system and got somewhere for them roots to go down and get a drink. I think it's going to stop raining here tonight, so we'll give him a good little drink. Probably won't use all this. There we go. We'll give it to his new little brother, or big brother, I guess. That little cedar tree there, and that little pine right next to him. All right, there we go. All righty. Boom. Oh, missed it. Now I'm just showing off. If I didn't have the camera on, I had to made that shot the first time. All right. Let's see if I got any phone calls. And I'm going to go and try to, I think I know where I want to put that other one. But look at that right there. Get out there. There you go. All right, we'll let it ride. Appreciate you planting a cedar for me, or with me. Wrap that part up. I want eventually nice little, you know, like I said, poppies or whatever, and the trees, but then like a circle drive right here. Because eventually I like to have the shop just right in here. Like a 2-car garage with a lift on one side. Maybe a little office or something. Anyway, this would be the circle drive right here. All right, let's see what we got. Hold on, we'll turn you off. This thing wants to follow me. There we go. All right. Let me pull it down. There we go. Ooh, 22 minutes. Not bad, I guess. All right. Hopefully we'll see you guys in a minute if I plant that other one. Alrighty, I'm back. We're going to try to plant that other one, and I'm going to try something a little different. Sorry for, don't get too seasick on me here. My camera by tripod doubles as like a selfie stick, and I'm going to give that a try. Hello. So I'm going to give that a try, see how that works. And I'm trying to figure out how to hold this thing. Sorry. Anyway, I did go over and get that little cedar I was talking about, and in the process, I dropped him. So you can see right there, poor little guy, got his root system all uncovered. It's probably cold, but I'm going to try and see if I can't get him over there. Anyway, I found a spot over amongst them other pines way over there. These ones we're going to go plant him next to. Almost all of them have come back from pine cone seed over the last 10 years. Number of them we've planted around there, but that group, I just let them go. And at one point when I was grading this out after the bark beetle cleanup, I had a Gettin box just scratching the ground, cleaning everything up. I didn't want to level it. I kind of like having things look a little natural. Oh boy, there we go. I might give it a second, see if that cell comes over this way. Anyway, all them little pines right there, you know, they got not drug around, but knocked around by that Gettin box. I thought, they ain't gonna make it. Almost every one of them little pines you see over there that are growing, it's almost like it made them stronger or something. They all survived and they've been growing. So I put my firewood ash over there, and I put sometimes I throw some fertilizer just randomly, just give them a little bit of loving. I don't water them or nothing, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, right over there, I want to put that cedar, and we'll see what happens with it. I don't know that I've ever tried to plant one just bare root like this one is turning out, but I don't want to just let him die without at least trying. So I did watch this video that I just made planting my tree here. And I guess I do need to let you know that I was doing a lot of shoveling and digging. That's the reason why you can hear me breathing. One, I got a big belly that pushes on my lungs a little bit. But also I was doing some pretty good manual labor digging this hole. Like I said, I wanted to go extra deep, kind of get some of that, what I perceive as probably being some not good soil. This side's done real well. That little tree's doing real good. But over here, like I said, it's the fourth one probably. It lasts about a year or so, and then it just randomly gives up the go. It'll actually be growing, looks good. So I'm thinking it got to a depth and maybe it's hitting something, because like I said, this is where we do all the maintenance. Who knows how much oil or whatever, diesel and grease, it's on the ground. And over there we got the welding and the torches and the the forge and all that other stuff. And I keep all my oils and paints over here. And so I imagine this root system probably gets over to this area, and there's probably some not good soil. So we'll give it another shot, see what happens. And like I said, I gave it some good feed, went a little deeper and got that what I think would be some bad soil out of there, I hope. So you can see how dark it is over in that area, over the treetops there. So I'm wondering, it doesn't look like it's coming this way. It looks like it's coming a little bit to the north of us. And you can see the clouds moving kind of a northeasterly direction. So let's see if we can get that shovel over there with that cedar, and we'll see if we can't get it buried. See if he'll make it. When I do other videos, I will give updates on how he's doing. So, well, I hope you appreciate and enjoy. Well, you don't have to appreciate, but I hope you enjoy BigIronsBack40 video podcasting, whatever they call it. And so here we go. I found I'd actually dug this hole some time ago. I was going to put one in. I just never did. But you can see almost all of these are from pine cone. Like this one here. Some of these others in here are planted. You can see down in there. They're just all over the place. But these are the cedars that I dug up. Look at that little guy. Look at this little guy right here. Boom. Doing real well. That was probably one of my first ones right there. See how big he is? He's doing really well. And so I bet there's a dozen of them around here. They're doing pretty good. But like I did my method of, digging up the dirt with them and help them. And so this will be my first one on just doing the roots. So I want to set up my podcast, my bipod here, so you can get so I can go to digging right here. All right. I think it's getting ready to rain, so I'm going to hurry up. I got the soil I dug him up in right there. This is pretty decent soil over here. So let me get a shovel full of here. I need a little bit more. Okay. Ooh, hit a rock. There we go. Come on. Oh yeah, that looks real good. Let me get maybe. Actually, this looks real good right here. Boom. There we go. Yeah. I got some good. Got a little firewood ash in that scoop. All right. Okay. Let me fix my hole I made. All right. I want to get these rocks out of there. Let's see here. Let's see what that'll do. Didn't have it. Oh, I hate that I did that. So let's slowly fill in around them. I think that's about how high I want them to be out of the ground. Or not out of the ground, but right in there. There we go. Come on, little buddy. You can do it. There we go. All right. He's probably all cold. Now that I knocked his warm little coat off of him. I was trying to carry the phone and the shovel in one hand, and I ended up dropping the shovel, and his little dirt coat broke apart. There we go. Get it just above that collar. Right there. There we go. Yeah. All right, we'll keep an eye on you, see how you do, buddy. I got a little bit of sawdust over here from when we did our milling, maybe 6-8 years ago. Put a little sawdust over top of him. Come here. Oh, yeah. That'll work. One more. One more. All right. Get those leaves out of there. Alrighty. I think I will all right. I will give him a little bucket of water like I did his brother. They were side by side over there. Oh man. There we go. Hands are dirty. So I'm gonna try not to get my bipod too dirty. All right. There we go. Okay. Anyway, we got him in the ground. We'll see what happens. I'll give it a little bit of water here in a minute. Well, it's been a real pretty day, rain-wise. We need it. We had a really dry March. Almost like summer was coming on. Turned cold this week and started raining. I think they got a little snow, a little bit higher elevation than us. I know they did up in Tahoe. So just envision it. Carport stays, woodshed. That shed behind the cedar tree probably will go. And then my son's work trailer will go. We'll get rid of that little shed. It's kind of falling apart anyway. It's doing okay, but it's old. And this office here I've had for well over 20 years. Probably did it, tore down. It's starting to definitely show some age, but it's still doing okay though. Anyway, I figure have the shop right in here, so double doors right here, carport. Well, I probably would have an overhang, you know, for putting like the tire machine, that kind of stuff. But have a lift and then a place to do oil and wrenching. And then where that trailer is, I'd like to have a little dog leg on the building. Turn that into like a little office. Maybe have a hide couch if somebody wants to stay the night or whatnot. Anyway, big dreams. We'll see what happens in the future. So, all right, I got to put all these tools up. And I think I'm going to call it I'm gonna go give this guy some shake and feed and give him a little bit of water, and we'll call it good. So I'm gonna go ahead and sign off right now, and I'll probably get this posted next day or so. Man, I got mud on my bipod now. Good grief. Hold on. I'm extending it. Give me a second. Man, I got mud all over it. Good grief. All right. Okay. Let's sign off. Excuse me. All right. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's Big Iron Back 40 podcast on transplanting cedar trees. Something I enjoy doing because you kind of get to see the results grow after a certain amount of time, and I like seeing them getting bigger. I'll be an old man before I get all the big trees I had before that bark beetle, but hopefully the kids will enjoy them. I'm enjoying them. They'll be big enough whenever I'm a little older. Another 10 years, some of these will be a good size, giving a shade and stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and sign off on this one for the day. Well, as always, as we sign off, when you pillow your head tonight, I want you to remember, Big Iron loves you. I'ma sip on something strong, singing. I'm just out here living, living my best life.